Paul, the concept of God pervades human history. Everybody talks about it. But today I find some really smart people are thinking about God in very different ways. It's a subject you've thought about, you've written about. How could you begin to help me understand how I can begin to think about this word?
The problem is we get hung up on the word because, as you mentioned in your question, the word God means different things to different people. And so we have to be really careful that we just don't use it in a sloppy manner. Now, when I was a child, I had this sort of popular image of God, of sort of super being up there in the sky or beyond the universe, like a cosmic magician who could conjure the universe into being, who existed within time, who watched things go along and intervened from time to work miracles. When I became a scientist, I hated that idea. Hated the idea that the laws of nature could be overruled or suspended in some way. The idea of God as just another force of nature. Well, we've got gravitation, we've got electromagnetism. Oh, and then there's God from time to time, prodding atoms around with additional forces and then disappearing for long periods of time. And I think that idea is offensive to theologians as well, the idea of God as a fitful being who intervenes from time to time, a sort of conjurer who lets the universe follow its own laws, but from time to time just sort of tinkers with it, a cosmic tinkerer, all horrible. But then we have a more sophisticated notion of God as maybe a timeless being who is the ground in which the rationality of the universe is rooted. And that idea has a lot of appeal. I think it's really what many physicists, even though they may not use the word God, actually believe. They believe that the laws of physics are sort of in some sense guaranteed. They're universal and absolute and they're anchored somehow. They're not just sort of floating freely, but they're not quite sure what they're anchored in. I've recently come to a completely different point of view in which I think we should try to get away from the notion of a universe which has meaning and purpose because it's imposed on it by some external being. And in fact, I would rather get away from the word God altogether and focus on this meaning or purpose, because that's what really matters to people. It's not, is there some sort of imaginary super being sort of lording it over the universe? It's, is there a meaning to existence beyond the meaning of ordinary human lives? Obviously, my life has meaning, your life has meaning, but is there a sort of cosmic meaning? Is there something bigger than the daily round? Are we part of a scheme of things that is going somewhere, that is about something? Now, words like meaning and purpose, of course, come from human discourse, and so when we project them onto nature, we have to do so very carefully. But what I often say when I'm criticized for doing that is that the whole of science is based on the idea of taking things from the realm of human experience and projecting them onto nature. The classic example is to regard nature as a gigantic machine. This goes back to Isaac Newton and the clockwork universe. And most physicists are very comfortable by saying, well, yes, the universe is just a gigantic physical mechanistic system. But you know, again, these are just human constructs, and I see no reason why we can't apply the same to things like meaning and purpose. We have to be careful, but I think that they do have application to the universe as a whole. That's what matters. It's not, is there a God that we can never really see or know about, but is there something bigger going on in the universe, something of which human existence is a small but nevertheless significant part? Are we part of a grand scheme of things that is, has some sort of purpose to it?
How could that happen, though, people would want to ask, without some supernatural force that would give us some eternal life or some other kind of thing? How could there be genuine, not artificially imposed meaning and purpose? Because we can make it up, but that doesn't satisfy me.
No, well, but we see the answer immediately, because we know that in the realm of human affairs, meaning and purpose emerges from nature. When the atoms were rattling around billions of years ago, before there was any life, they didn't have individually meaning or purpose. It's something that emerged as part of evolution. And in the same way, I think that if we expand from just biological evolution to cosmic evolution, meaning and purpose can emerge in the cosmos as well. So I have this notion of meaning and purpose as inherent in and emerging with the universe and not sort of imposed on it from without.
What kind of meaning and purpose would that be without a traditional God?
You're asking me, what is the purpose of the universe? Well, if I knew the answer to that.
What are the kinds of things it could be? How could you begin to describe it?
I think one of the...
What are its characteristics?
Well, one of the characteristics of a meaningful or purposeful universe is that it should somehow come to understand itself. And therefore, I take life and mind seriously. Now, many scientists say, well, life and mind are remarkable, but they're just sort of trivial embellishments in the great cosmic story. They're
certainly
just
accidental.
Little accidental byproducts, aberrations that occurred in one little corner of the universe of no fundamental significance to the whole. But I've always believed that life and mind are of literally cosmic significance. And one of the reasons that I come to that conclusion is because human beings are more than mere observers. It's not that we just observe the universe, we don't just watch the show. We've also unraveled the plot through science and mathematics. We've come to understand the hidden subtext, the underlying laws of the universe, the rules on which the cosmos runs. This is a truly extraordinary thing. It's completely surplus to requirements. There is no reason in biological evolution why human beings have to understand the universe. Sure, they need to be able to observe it and make judgments and so on. You need to be able to leap over the stream or catch the falling apple. And other animals on Earth can do that as well. But in addition to that, we've come to understand the universe, at least in part, and I believe we have the potential to understand it in totality. And so that for me suggests that the emergence of mind is something of literally cosmic significance, something which is the most complex system we know, the human brain, touches, connects with the most fundamental rules on which the universe runs. We can figure out what's going on inside the atom or inside a black hole, something of that sort. Way, way outside the realm of the traditional survival in the jungle. So the fact that human beings can do that, the fact that the evolution of life and then mind then connects in with the deep workings of the cosmos, suggests it has cosmic significance. So I think ultimately the purpose of the universe includes its self-comprehension. The universe has somehow engineered not just its self-awareness, but its self-comprehension.